In this video I will show you 8 tips to really level up your diet even if you're broke. Now the first obvious step is going to be to cut out junk food. Now I think this is kinda expected, but it is also really important. And I also understand that junk food, processed food, stuff like that can really be cheap, quick and easy to make. So I get it. But you and I, we both know that it's never going to be healthy. And especially in 2 cases, you can definitely remove it. The first case is takeaway. So McDonald's, Subway, KFC and all those other franchises aren't even cheap anymore. Like honestly, do you still think McDonald's is cheap? Maybe you see it differently, but to me, that's not even cheap anymore. Especially if I actually want to get full and I want nutritional value. It might actually be cheaper to make it my own, for real. So for takeaway, yeah, sure, you can make an exception sometimes, but just remove it. It's of course unhealthy and not even cheap anymore. And case number 2 is sweets and snacks. Trust me, I love snacking. I love having snacks and sweets in between, but I can guarantee you it's not healthy, it's a money waste, and it's useless. Honestly, you don't need Twix, Pringles, Pingui, and all the other things. It's hard, but true. So my advice is remove the takeaway food, the fast food, and the sweets and snacks, which only saves you money because the nutritional value sucks anyways. We will replace those missing calories with something much better. And in my opinion, one of the best techniques for that is going to be my tip number 2, which is to embrace eggs. Start egg maxing. Let's go. If you're not vegan or whatever, eggs are probably the best, cheap superfood that you can eat. I already made plenty videos about eggs by now, so if you want to know more about that, for example the nutritional value, just go on my channel. But I can tell you I made those videos for a good reason. Eggs are probably one of the best ways to upgrade your diet. Especially and even more so if you are broke. Yes, the prices for eggs did go up. And especially in the US, I think eggs are really getting somewhat expensive nowadays, but I think it might still be fine. The prices will vary for you depending where you live and what you have access to, but for me, for example, I can get 10 decently good eggs in Germany for 3 to 4 euros. And those are organic eggs. That's 70 grams of protein. Nice. But that's just one small part of the equation, because eggs have all vitamins except vitamin C and all essential minerals. Hello? It's literally a cheat code. And it also helps with testosterone production and having more energy, because you have vitamin D, omega-3, at least in good eggs, but also zinc, plenty of vitamin B, magnesium, choline, and so much more. And by the way, you don't need to worry about the cholesterol in eggs. Multiple studies debunked the cholesterol myth, and if you are healthy especially, you don't need to worry. My third tip is to implement time-saving cooking methods. Stop only looking at the money aspect. If you value your time at least a little bit, you should also look at the time you spend cooking. And the less time you have to spend cooking something, preparing your food, of course the more time you have to either make more money, which might be what you need if you're broke, or at least to educate yourself, do some other good habits like exercising, going outside, or even just seeing friends, playing an instrument, or whatever you like to do. But it is a fact that if you have to spend 2 hours a day cooking, that there are some opportunity costs. You could use those 2 hours in many other ways. And if you can reduce that time to 1 hour or even half an hour, you can make more money in that time potentially. And that's actually something I focused on a lot in the last couple of months. For now, I can quickly tell you, stir frying is a good option. Ground beef is easy and quick. Eggs are easy and quick. Raw foods that don't need to be cooked are of course time saving as well. Getting frozen veggies that are already cut can be a good option too. Or having shakes, or my tip number 6, which we're going to talk about in 2 minutes maybe. Tip number 4 is to buy in bulk. You will go grocery shopping less often, so it saves you time. And usually you will also get a discount if you buy big portions. So that saves you money as well. Like 12 eggs will always be cheaper than buying 2 packs of 6 eggs, right? So my advice is to buy in bulk, especially if you have a big fridge or freezer that you can store a lot of those foods in, and that way you will save time and money. And that kind of leads me to my next tip. Because when you go grocery shopping, I would opt for frozen veggies and frozen fruits if you eat veggies or fruits. So instead of fresh fruits and vegetables, you just buy them frozen. Because from what I know, the quality is the same. Maybe it doesn't taste the same and you can't prepare it the same way, but the nutritional value will be the same. You will also save time by not having to cut those vegetables, for example. It's also often cheaper, so you save money. And you also have more flexibility because it lasts longer, you have a bigger package, and you don't have to use a certain vegetable or fruit because it's about to go bad. You can store it in the fridge for a long time. So especially if you have the space, buy frozen fruits and vegetables. Maybe even meat and other things, but I don't really do that. Now tip number 6 is meal prepping. Yes, that's another great way to save time and money. But especially, of course, you will save time, which is money, or at least opportunity cost. We talked about that before. Buying in bulk helps you to meal prep. I would say it's also easier to actually use the things that you bought, so maybe you will have less waste. And besides the money and time saving, it also makes you more committed to your diet because you already prepared your food. So when you're hungry, you don't start eating the shitty food, but you actually have your food prepared. And if that's healthy, you eat it. So that's a great way to improve your diet, even if you're broke. Tip number 7 is to reduce your carb intake. Now this is kind of a double-edged sword, because carbs are probably the cheapest macronutrient, unless you drink like cheap oil. But that's nothing to eat. And I will also say that low-carb diets like a keto diet, carnivore diet, and also animal-based diet, which is high in carbs, but whatever, is definitely way more expensive than the average diet. But also it can make you healthier, can make you happier, and it also can make you more productive. And for some, all of those 3 things actually quite a bit. So then it could be worth it. Personally, I would advise you to experiment with it, unless of course you have moral problems with eating more animal foods or something like that. But what I can also tell you is that when you go on a low-carb diet, on a keto diet for example, once you get used to it, you will also have less sugar and carb cravings. And that reduces your snacking, which could save you some money in return. But if that alone is worth the price, probably not. If the benefits are worth the price, maybe, potentially. I'm personally kind of struggling with this too, and I guess you will have to experiment with that. So just see for yourself. That's the best thing you can do. But either way, refined carbs and sugar should definitely be replaced with better carb sources like sweet potato, white rice and stuff like that. And maybe replace your fancy protein wraps, protein pasta and stuff like that with cheaper alternatives that aren't even that much worse. And lastly, go for generic brands. Now this is the kinda obvious advice again, but often you can go with the cheaper brand and get the same nutritional value. Many times it's just marketing and branding, but why would you pay extra for that? So yeah, that's just my last tip. I hope this was any helpful. I really think that if you take care of all those 8 things I talked about, you can definitely improve your diet quite a bit without spending more. But maybe you have other ideas to improve your diet without spending more? I would actually be interested in that because I'm also trying to save money. So if you have any idea, definitely let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. And if this video was any helpful, leave a like if you want to. But with all that being said, hope it helped. Stay excellent, have a great day, and bye.